The clean energy future is now. Williams is the first North American midstream natural gas company to establish a climate commitment for a sustainable future. Our infrastructure and commitment are transforming the future of energy. View the report and learn more at williams.com.
This right here is the future of wrestling.
It's Sunday night, and you know what that means. It's time to go live on 9:30 a.m. The Answer's Pro Wrestling Show, San Antonio Wrestling Showcase with Dan Cialana.
A bunch of wrestlers got fired. It's Survivor Series night. And Becky Lynch wins by cheating. And The Rock is probably going to come back tonight at Survivor Series. This has been your WWE News. Am I echoing? I feel like I got a little echo going on. Maybe it's just the voices in my head, the edibles. You know what? I got to be careful with this RVD green energy that I take before the show. Either way, we'll get right through it. I'm Dan Cialana, talking professional wrestling every night with you right here on 9:30 The Answer. And I'm here with special guest, Madness. It says it on his shirt. So we got to believe it. Madness from Pride Championship Wrestling. How you doing, Madness?
I'm doing very well. Oh, yeah, I hear the echo.
You hear the echo?
I do.
You gotta do that. Well, we have to do the Howard Finkel voice.
Yes.
And now. That's all right. Shemai will fix it. It's live radio. That's how things go, but we'll go ahead. Am I just talking so damn loud that I'm just going through my headphones here? That's okay. We'll figure it out.
It's like a live match.
You know what? Let's just take off our damn headphones.
Oh, yeah, that works.
We'll take off our headphones and talk like normal
so
people.
much
I don't know
better.
what's going on. We don't know if we're sounding weird, but we'll figure it out. It's okay, but we are here. Pride Championship Wrestling is in the house. We're watching Survivor Series in the background, and I'm just watching to see if The Rock comes out. Because the whole damn Survivor Series so far, Madness, has been an infomercial for The Rock and his Netflix show. So we'll just kind of watch it on the phone here. If we get too distracted, I'll be like the teacher. If we get too distracted, we're going to turn the TV off.
Or you could just confiscate the phone. That would just go either way.
That's right. Give me the
and you
phone.
don't get it back till the end of the show.
All right. Well, we can talk about WWE all night, but we won't because that gets depressing because things happen. Depressing things happen at WWE.
We may get released.
I know we might actually be wished well on our future endeavors. During the show, WWE fires so many people that now they need to just fire people who don't even work there, right? Wrestling fans will be dismissed from their whatever job
I am
they work
reminded of that email that Vince sent about the leg slap.
That's right. Don't slap the leg, pal. It looks stupid. Okay. Let's not talk about Vince McMahon. Let's talk about Pride Championship Wrestling, LGBT-friendly, supporting wrestling organization. Let's just get right into it. Like, when you started Pride, or when Pride started, what was kind of like, what made you feel like we need a wrestling organization that's LGBT-friendly?
Well, I think what it was that we didn't have an actual voice at the table, if you get what I mean. You know, we had wrestlers that were out, but they weren't out to the fans, or they weren't allowed to be themselves. I was one of those. As much as I got so much support from the back, I still wanted a part of myself to be out there so that I could really own my persona. You know, one of the things that, especially now with the Chris Kanyon Dark Side of the Ring, a lot of those were little triggers that I dealt with. Not being able to really be yourself, not being able to fully commit to something and being something that you're not. Yeah. As time went on, I started getting different motivation from guys from the back. Another one of my mentors, CJ Xavier, Papa Don up in Austin at AAPW, who actually was one of the not founders, but one of the cornerstones of being gay in wrestling. Mm-hmm. Although he was never out, everybody knew, but he fought so that guys like me, at least in Texas, could have our voice. And I wanted a lot more of those voices to be put on a stage where, like at a Pride event or anywhere else, where somebody can say, hey, they can do it. I can do it. And I'm not just a label.
Right.
I'm just, I can be a wrestler that just happens to be gay in real life. And it meant a lot to be able to have the support of Pride San Antonio that was really supportive of us in the beginning. And it really helped get things in motion, because being at 2012, being at our first Pride event and having a small crowd that was slowly building to every year, it was getting bigger and bigger. And I believe if it wasn't because of COVID, I think we would have had a larger crowd. Mm-hmm. And we're getting everybody. You know, we're getting families, we're getting teenagers that like wrestling. And that's the thing. There's kind of a shaming in the LGBT community of wrestling.
Really?
Wrestling is seen one way to them as compared to what we do. And breaking stereotypes is one of the main things that I personally enjoy about PCW. I love breaking the stereotypes, especially because when you go out, like, oh, you do wrestling, like, yeah, you know. So does anything ever happen? You know, interesting? No.
So they mean, like, does anyone? Well, hear me be delicate here. What do they mean? Like, is it get weird, like sexual? Is that what they're asking?
Yeah, that's basically
like when you're rolling around, do you get happy about this kind of thing?
Yeah,
okay,
exactly. I said I'm in too much pain to be worrying about that. I gotta worry about back pain. I gotta worry about the guy in the other side of the ring.
Okay, now Madness from Pride Championship Wrestling. Since you brought this up, and I'll be subtle here. You know, the wrestling outfit, the wrestling tights. You know, there's a lot of movement. I mean, those tights probably really constrict things, right? So even if people got, you know, nervous and showed some excitement for the match, like, they're pretty constricting, right? You know what I'm saying, right? You know, I'm trying to, okay.
No one's ever had a Cena moment.
Okay. I need to look that up. Oh, there's an Iron Sheik moment. If you look up Iron Sheik, there was one match where he was wrestling Hulk Hogan, I think. And there's a great still of the Iron Sheik, and he looks like he is very happy to be in that match.
Golly.
But, you know, you talk about breaking stereotypes, and you and I, Madness, were talking before the show about how, like, during the Attitude Era, and even a little bit later, in terms of WWE and characters like Goldust. And I don't care what Vince McMahon says, oh, Goldust was androgynous. It's like, no, like, Goldust was a over-sexualized gay character, and WWE, I think they enjoyed having Goldust receive homophobic chants from the crowd. You know, we had Billy and Chuck and the whole, Billy and Chuck getting married. Oh, isn't that funny? Two guys getting married. It just, you know, there's a lot of stereotypes. Even I remember in the Attitude Era, you'd have wrestlers use the F word slur against other wrestlers. So, you know, it's just amazing how much things have changed, you know, and how, you know, I also talked before the show about how in WWE about a year ago there was a Lana and Rusev love triangle storyline where the payoff of the storyline was supposed to be that Lana was a lesbian, and WWE received so much criticism. They said, hey, you know what, like, gay people are not a punchline. This isn't 1992 Jerry Springer. So talk about how over the years you've seen wrestling hopefully stop using characters like that and portray gay people in a better light.
Well, okay, let's go back a little bit because
sure.
I'll admit, I'm 40. Mm-hmm. And I've been watching wrestling since the 80s. And my dad had brought home like this box of old videotapes of old pay-per-views. And I got to see like Adrian Adonis. And you start going throughout the years, you see Goldust and you see Billy and Chuck and you see how Trish and I can't remember.
Lita?
No, not Lita. With her super fan. I can't remember her name. People are screaming it right now.
Mickey James.
Mickey James, there you go.
Right.
How they started out. And these are just a couple of the few things that just have expanded over the years that people that, thanks to the network, have like, we're just going to move that aside because we're on Peacock now and we're trying to be a little bit friendlier. But a lot of people forget. And they want them to forget that because these were a lot of embarrassing moments. Yeah. And let's throw in there Shawn's behavior too.
Shawn Michaels?
Yes. When he got into it with a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
CM Punk as well, you know, like called a fan a derogatory name, and it was a few years ago. called, he was going at it with a fan in the front row, called him a derogatory name. And to his credit, CM Punk, when called out on Twitter and social media, apologized, said I shouldn't have used that kind of language. But back in the day, you could get away with that.
You could, yes.
Face or heel, didn't matter.
Exactly. And then when you look at Billy and Chuck and how that ended out, and let's throw in there what we may or may not know exactly what it was, but the Chris Kanyon situation.
Yeah.
They threw him out there, told him to sing "Boy," Do You Really Want to Hurt Me by Boy George, and then to get completely obliterated by The Undertaker. Being able to be able to recognize this and look at at least in the indie scene, just watching the names that are coming out, Effie is one of them, Nia Rose, Maria Moreno, the list goes on and on of these people that are breaking the glass ceiling, that we're not just comedy acts. We're not going to be subjugated to just one type of match because of who we are. We can carry ourselves in a hardcore match. We can carry ourselves in a regular match. You put anything in front of us, the crowd will get behind us, or the crowd will boo us. It doesn't matter because we're doing our job. Just because we happen to love who we love shouldn't make a damn difference about, wait, am I allowed to say that one?
You can say
great.
Damn. Well, you already did. It's live. No,
I know. Still.
I gave him the talk. I said, you got to keep it legit here because otherwise Shemaya's going to hit that dump button, so we got to be real careful about that. We're talking to Madness from Pride Championship Wrestling. And if you look at somebody like Sonny Kiss, who I'm convinced if Sonny Kiss had come out in Attitude Era, they'd be a heel. Just because, look, acting all crazy.
They would have misused him.
Yeah.
I would say right now, I think he should be off of AEW Dark already and be on Dynamite or Rampage.
Well, he was at the beginning. So I don't know what happened. I don't know the backstage and stuff at AEW, but Sonny Kiss, at least when I remember when AEW first came out, he had a lot of TV time. And then as soon as those other shows came out, AEW Dark, and during the pandemic, they had Sonny Kiss sort of being the hype squad, the front row. So I don't know what the deal with Sonny is, but just I agree he should be on TV more. But I love the idea that he is being portrayed in a good light.
Yeah,
and he's himself. There's no
ambiguity
there.
that.
And I loved it. Several months ago, I think it was during the pandemic, Cody Rhodes was going to wrestle Sonny Kiss, and some idiot on Twitter, because there's plenty of idiots on Twitter, said to Cody, like, why are you going to wrestle this guy? What's wrong? How, aren't you ashamed? And Cody's like, listen, just basically shut the F up, get out of here. And I love that because it was like, you know what, this is a new era. We don't treat people like that anymore. And listen, there's still people in the world, and I don't want to make it about me, but there's still people in the world who aren't down with this. Who are just like, there's gonna be people who are gonna tell me, is this wrestling show woke? And I'm here to tell you, listen, if you think giving dignity to gay wrestlers and gay people is too woke and you don't like it, listen, I don't want you as a listener. You don't have to listen. That's fine. But we forget that there's still so many people in the world who just have a bug up their butt about this. And it's just so frustrating. So I'm so glad to see places like Pride Championship Wrestling just be out there and just be like, this is who we are, and deal with it, because the world ain't going back. The world's not going back to the way you thought it was. You need to get over that super quick.
We're not going anywhere.
Right.
We've already dug our feet in the sand. We're not going anywhere. Not only that, not only Pride Championship Wrestling, but you have Paris is Burning. You also have Effie's Big Gay Brunch. And there's just so many others. And not only that, but we're being featured in a documentary called Out in the Ring, which chronicles the LGBT movement in professional wrestling, starting back all the way from the 50s, all the way to where we're at now. And they got a lot of people that are in this that are finally sharing their story. And one of the biggest things for me is for us to be profiled in this, because I've waited for some type of recognition, because not just for not me. I don't care about the recognition. I care about the guys who come and perform for PCW that want to be a part of something, and they're getting that opportunity. I never ask anybody. I always tell them this. I said, never say thank you to me. because I just gave you an opportunity and you just ran with it. I don't want no credibility. You don't have to say anything. But all I ask is in the end that you run with the opportunity of not just what we gave you, but whatever else that you get. And you don't change for anybody, because what got you there was you being you, and that is it.
Absolutely. Talking to Madness from Pride Championship Wrestling right here on San Antonio Wrestling Showcase. Now, in terms of the wrestlers who wrestle for Pride Championship Wrestling, obviously, even with when people are out about their sexuality, it's like a lot of it's still private. So, like, in terms of, like, do you have to identify, if you're a wrestler, do you have to identify as LGBT to wrestle for your organization, or do you have to just be at least an ally, or is it just kind of implied that everybody here has some sort of, like, LGBT identity?
So the majority of our wrestlers are LGBTQ+, but we'll welcome all of our allies. It's great when you're having a show coming up and a lot of the guys know about it and they ask you, hey, do you have a spot for me on the show? If I got a spot, hey, you're more than welcome to. I have a lot of friends that will come in and they'll ask if they can be on the show. And it's because, not because that they identify, but because they have kids or they have a cousin or they have somebody in their family. Which is
everybody, whether you know it or not.
Exactly. But it means something to me, because right now what PCW is focused on is raising money for the community at large. And we've helped out a lot of charity organizations that help out families, that help out kids, and the list goes on and on of what the services they provide that they need. Recently, we had a show, Lucha Oso, which was presented by the Renegade Bears. And if any of them are listening, thank you, and big shout out to the Renegade Bears San Antonio. We raised money for the MCC Food Pantry. And if anybody can, please look them up. They help over 1,000 families a week, and they're a small, non-denominational church.
Okay. All right.
And
go ahead.
But I appreciate that, and I will always be appreciative of anything. I would like to do a couple of shows outside of that to help, create some stories and bring something intriguing in. But right now, I'm doing what I can.
Talking to Madness from Pride Championship Wrestling right here on San Antonio Wrestling Showcase. Haven't asked you yet how to find you online, so we can get you on Instagram, Twitter.
Well, you can find me on the Instagram. Yes. At pup_madness. I had to look that one up because I forget my handles on.
And me too. I got a billion of them.
I know, because when you have like so many different of them. But yeah, it's Pup Madness. It's Pup Madness on Instagram. I only have, if you want to find me on Facebook, it's the Texas Hellhound Madness. And on Twitter, I have to check that one because I have two of them for no reason. But it's at madness_TX.
Stock Madness online. So
yeah, stock me.
Pride Championship Wrestling.
Pride Championship TX on Instagram. Sorry.
I think LGBT rights have come really far in the last several years. Always more work to do. But do you ever get sort of pushback from people who aren't like bigots? Obviously, bigots are going to say stupid things, but other people who are like, hey, man, listen, it's 2021. Everyone's cool about it now. Why do you got to have your own separate organization? Like, how do you respond to people who say, like, hey, listen, kind of like the battle's over now. Like, we've won, so let's all just get together.
The battle's never over. That's the thing that people need to understand. Like, just look in general, civil rights movement. For African Americans, they're still fighting after all these years.
Shemaiah, did you fall asleep? Did the producer fall asleep? I'm sorry. I thought the producer fell asleep on me. I was gonna have you put on that mask and hit him with the belt for his own good, though. Just okay. I want to make sure. I'm sorry, Shemaiah. I'm sorry, my man.
I thought you were checking to him to see if he agreed with me.
No, I'm making sure. Just nod and be like, yeah, these guys. I'm sorry, Madness. I want to make sure we.
No, but the fight's never over. The fight's always going to be there. Yeah. I get flack online when I posted up the flyer for Lucha Oso.
Why is that?
like you said, there's a lot of people that just like, I don't like this.
Or I'm just tired of hearing about this all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a privilege. It's a privilege. You know what? Because
But you know what? I will say this. They are entitled to their opinion.
Right.
And I'm not going to hold them from that. But if you're going to say something negative, guess what? You're going to get banned and blocked from the page.
Yeah.
Because we don't need you. I'm sorry.
Right.
We don't need your money. If you have that opinion, fine. You can have your opinion. You can just have your opinion with your friends or whoever that you're with.
That's the cool thing. Like the next time, I definitely want to check out a Pride Championship Wrestling show sometime soon. And it'll be nice to not have those people in, be with, you know what I mean? It'd be nice to be like, okay, there's no bigots here. This is great. There's only cool people here at this show.
Exactly. You can talk crap to the wrestlers all you want. Just be respectful.
Right.
Just be respectful. Because guess what? I will throw you out.
Yeah.
And you have a whole crowd full of people that will get on your case and throw you out.
Right. Good times.
My goal is to eventually, and if they're listening, I would love to, on the Strip, right there on the Strip, have a show there. I think
like on the actual street, just in the middle of this.
Yeah,
I know what you mean, just down there. Yeah,
right there on Main Street. Just right there on Main Street. Just right there in the parking lot of one of the bars there. Just put on a show.
Well, you just do a bar fight, man. Just start it. You know what I mean? They won't know it's an angle, man. They'll think it's real.
Exactly. I've been in those situations. I've been thrown out of a bar.
Yeah, we got to hear about those next time. Madness from Pride Championship Wrestling. Do you guys have any shows in the works for 2022?
Right now, the planning stages are for the next Lucha Oso, which is going to probably be in September or October of 2022. Pride Bigger Than Texas is going to be in July. And we're trying to plan a few shows in Austin, hopefully starting in January of 2022.
All right. Just got a few minutes left here. And, yesterday was Trans Day of Remembrance.
Yes.
And, there's a lot of programming on this station and on talk radio in general. It's very political. So there's probably a lot of people thinking, I'm tired of hearing about trans issues. It's like, well, if you're not trans and you have the privilege of complaining about hearing about trans stuff, you know what I mean? It's like, but for a lot of people, it's part of who they are, and they can't turn it off. And I just want to take a moment just to remember everyone who has, all the trans folks who have died, been murdered, killed, or any kind of violence against them just for who they are. It's unfortunate. It's terrible. Yeah. It's not right. And it is 2021. We've come a long way in terms of making society better, but there's a lot of things we can do better. You've probably seen this online. Whenever you see social media ads for LGBT mental health, you'll see people using the laugh emoji. That's funny, or that makes me mad. It's 2021. People are still doing that
because
crap.
A lot of people don't understand.
Yeah,
people fear and laugh at what they don't understand. Like I'll tell your listeners, when I walk out to the ring, I wear a pup hood. Mm-hmm. I use pup play as an escapism, to escape anxiety, to escape depression, and just put myself in a different headspace, because what does a puppy have to worry about? Nothing. So you just put yourself in that
scratching
headspace.
Itself.
Exactly. just put yourself in that headspace and escape.
Yeah.
And not many people have that outlet. Not many people understand that one of the biggest things of homelessness is our LGBT kids.
Yeah.
That get thrown out because of who they are.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It really does. And people need to be a little bit more not appreciative, but a little bit more understanding of the trans community, and take time to know.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
And it's, because I remember, you and I are old enough. We're both the same age, around early 40s, and we remember Jerry Springer and just how trans people and gay people were just displayed as just in very, very derogatory ways.
Yes.
And you know what? It's everybody. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody's on some kind of spectrum of something. You and I said it before we got on the air. Everyone's got some kind of kink.
Exactly.
Whether they want to admit it or not. I think for some people, this might be a little too far. I think some people being religious and pretending that you're a good Christian boy or girl is a kink in itself. I don't know. Maybe I'm not judging, just observing. You don't got that's me saying that. It's not madness. That's not PCW. That's Dan Cialana being a jerk. But I'm just saying. But those are the people causing trouble. So it's a little personal for me. And I'll keep that for off air. I'm going to calm down a little bit because I want to keep it positive. But
yes.
But Pride Championship Wrestling Madness. Thank you so much for coming to the studio. It goes by so quick. Just being on the air here. One more time, how can we find you online?
Pup_madness on Instagram. Pride Wrestling TX on Instagram as well. Madness TX on Twitter, and the Texas Hellhound Madness. And if you like my shirts, you can check them out on prowrestlingtees.com/pupmadness.
Absolutely. Love is love. Wrestling is wrestling. Love wrestling. And if you love wrestling, join us every Sunday night, 9 p.m. right here on 930 The Answer. Madness, thank you so much. Pride Championship Wrestling, looking forward to seeing you online. And we look forward to having you guys join us next week, 9 p.m. on 930 The Answer. Talk wrestling on San Antonio Wrestling Showcase. You have my permission to go back to Survivor Series.
And that's all you have to say. Why?
Support for this podcast is from Williams. We make clean energy happen. Every day, coast to coast, Williams is safely and reliably powering America through our natural gas infrastructure. Our network moves 30% of the nation's natural gas to cleanly power our cities, suburbs, and rural communities. Our network reduces emissions right here, right now. City to city, coast to coast, every single day. Learn more at Williams.com. That's WILLIAMS.com.